Hey guys, before you get started on this week's special episode, be sure to check out bamnbeyond's most recent video on what home means to us. On that note, please enjoy the rest of this episode.
Welcome to the Bam and Beyond podcast. This is the podcast where you learn more about BAM, the team, and everything happening with British Asian media and beyond. If you're new to BAM, we're a digital media company dedicated to bringing together the British Asian community and bridging the gap with the rest of the world. My name is Jem.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Simon.
And I'm Sunny. So, Nicole, would you like to summarize what Asian August is for those who don't know?
Yes, in case you missed episode 5 of our Bam and Beyond podcast, where we talk about what Asian August is, let me summarize it for you. So what originally started out as a hashtag in correspondence with the release of Crazy Rich Asians and Searching in 2018, Bam and Beyond wanted to bring it back and take it further.
Our goal is to bring Asian communities around the world together and celebrate what it means to be Asian. And one way we want to do this was encourage people to create content around the theme of home, whether it was a vlog, film, illustration, podcast, or music. We wanted to know what home meant from others. And this was something that was actually suggested by Abby.
Who made a lovely, just such a sweet song for us. You guys can check out our Instagram. All the links to everyone's creations will be in our YouTube description. So her song, I was listening to it, and even though it's just I believe it was just a minute, it was short but sweet. I was about to cry, but I had to hold it in. I had to hold it in. Yeah, so the lyrics. I'm alone here but not lonely. That really spoke to me because as someone who did kind of spend a lot of her time, me, alone, and now it's yes, sometimes there are times where I am alone, but I know now that I'm not lonely because I have the BAM fam right here is always there, and just good people in my life now. It's just, I am alone sometimes, but I'm not lonely. It's different now, which is really, really nice. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to tear up in this episode, but yeah.
I think a lot of us can definitely relate to that, especially with all identities and stuff, being Asian, growing up, and I know it's a buzzword, but that lack of representation in the media and just sort of I guess also I'm sure a few people listening to this have grown up in areas where there isn't that kind of Asian community either.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, a lot of us who have immigrated from countries where we are technically alone in terms of us not having our grandparents with us or our cousins or anything like that, and feeling that sense of loneliness. And I have no one here. But then as I think we all get older and we start to connect with more people, we build our new family here and we realize we're not actually lonely, which is really nice. I think I agree. It was a super powerful line. And then the next piece that we had submitted was from the team behind High Expectations, who also run Asians in Britain. And what they did, they shared a post on Instagram and had each individual team member share what home meant to them. And I love this. Firstly, I absolutely love their graphics. I think it's very eye-capturing. But also when I was reading through it, what they said just really reminded me of the BAM team, because essentially they were saying is home to them is where love is and where you feel the most authentically yourself, and feeling at home with the company you keep and where you're happy. And for me, I think that I know whenever we've all had our Zoom calls, that is what we've expressed with one another, because majority of us didn't know each other in real life. We'd seen each other all virtually, but in a time where we're not allowed to socialize, and it was just a very strange, unprecedented times. I know for me, and I'm pretty sure I could say for all you guys, we immediately felt at home with each other, and it took away that feeling of again, kind of linking to Abby's, that feeling of loneliness. I just knew straight away. I was I mean, I've only ever met these guys I only met some of you guys last week. So feeling home with you guys is is amazing. I think it reinforces that idea that home isn't a destination, it isn't a place, it's within people. And that's, for me, that is what home feels like. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was great.
Yeah, home is the people that make you feel safe. And I love that bamnbeyond have created this, really lovely safe space for everyone to just talk about whatever they want. And if they're feeling down, it's okay to just share. Like, we don't judge each other. We don't judge others. It's really awesome.
I was thinking that the other day. I think I was speaking to Ray about it. I was like, for me, the most important thing about BAM is the people. Like, when it comes to you guys are the most important thing to me in terms of like, regardless of all of our like schedules and projects and stuff, like as long as the team is in good spirits, that's like my personal goal, if I'm honest.
And I really, really appreciate how we always show how grateful we are to each other. Like, we openly tell each other that we love each other.
Yeah,
and it's so sweet.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Even that, like, that's just reminded me of the letter that Sophia sent, and like getting that letter and like sobbing because it was just like the sweetest thing ever. And I was like, I'm getting letters, and I've never met Sophia in real life, and I was like, I've just got this letter from her, and it's just so lovely.
So I still haven't got my letter, Sophia. But that was only because she didn't use my real name. So I think the person who was sending the letter said like, oh, this person does not live in this address. So Sophia actually had to like post it again, I think 2 days ago. So she told me it should be coming around this time last week. I should probably not wear makeup on that day when I do receive the letter, because
Don't you have the waterproof?
No, I do.
Spray.
Yeah.
Which Sophia also got for me. Thank you so much, Sophia.
But she sent that with your not your real name, and you got it.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense.
Weird.
For whoever is listening to this, yeah, Sunny is not my real name. Please don't search up my real name. And if you know my real name, just
keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself.
Shh.
It's like, you don't watch this podcast. We do.
But yeah, it's those like thoughtful little selfless acts that really touches the heart.
I still remember what she said to me. She was like, Simon, like, learn to take a break. I was like,
yeah,
she's right.
But yeah, okay, moving on.
Moving on, Sunny made an Instagram reel talking about what home means to her, and it was a really sweet video. Also quite entertaining because of the way she did it. Definitely check it out. Sunny, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, linking to what we were just like talking about, how like home is sometimes like really about like the people, and for me, I seek it's the what was I trying to say? I seek home in people. Does that sentence make sense?
It does.
So, yeah. So I was actually how I ended up there. I was actually on TikTok, being me. And I came across the audio. Now the audio was something along the lines of like, oh, when I look at you, I feel at home. And I remember just crying. I just teared up instantly, and I actually thought about BAM immediately, because you guys are like my family. Oh no, why am I just
it's an emotional
let out, let flow, girl.
Yeah, no,
let flow.
I mean, I say this to you guys all the time. It's really nice to, I guess, find that sense of like belonging, like in a group, because as I've mentioned and have told you guys, from our like Zoom calls, that I do spend a lot of my time alone, and to finally find a group of people where I can be myself and cry and not get judged, it feels really nice. It feels really nice. And also being the youngest as well, I see you guys as like my older brothers and older sisters, and yeah, so that
we protect Sunny at all costs. So
yes, our
try at it, huh?
Also try to protect them at all costs too.
I mean, that's the thing, right? You protect your home.
Yeah.
Oh, damn right.
Exactly.
Right. And also, Nicole, I know you've made something.
Yes.
That-
Amazing.
I released a short video or short film.
Short film,
Sometimes
yes.
I'm not sure if I should call it a film just
It's a
because I
film.
don't know
It
if
was
it's good
cinematic.
enough.
film.
It was beautiful.
Cinematic? Okay. So it was like one of my first videos where I actually used a proper microphone to record a voiceover. It seems so like professional. But anyway, yeah, so I made a short film about what home means to me, a British born Chinese. And in the title of the video, there's Chinese text which says "Ga Di Yi Yi," which is essentially the meaning of home. And in this video, I put together old clips and new clips. You can see me like rocking all these different hairstyles: brown hair, long hair, short hair, blonde hair, crazy hair. And I also inserted some childhood videos that my mum and dad sent to me recently. So I was really touched seeing those. And not gonna lie, like I got quite emotional making this video. It was pretty much a roller coaster ride because when I first got the idea and I started putting all the clips together, I had to watch literally every single clip that I have in my external hard drive. It took absolutely ages, but it just brought back so many memories. And then it got to the hard part of trying to find like music for the background. And then I started thinking, oh no, this is going to turn out really rubbish. But in the end, I managed to complete it. And yeah, it's been incredible receiving feedback from friends and even people that I don't know or people I haven't spoken to in absolutely ages. And the way that so many people have just said that they relate. Because to me, home is not just a physical place. Home is found in people that I love most of the time and in places that I may be familiar with or comfortable in. So yeah, it's really touching. And actually, I want to say that I had the idea for this video like 4 years ago. There was a topic of belonging, and I can't remember if I discussed this with Simon, but I think I discussed it with Tim, one of the other co-founders of bamnbeyond. And that was a time when I had just finished my study abroad in Seoul. So I was feeling really lost because that experience in South Korea, it made me feel like, wow, I feel at home here, but it's technically not my home. Yeah. So I was just like going through this like identity crisis, and I thought maybe I can create a video to talk about the sense of belonging.
Funnily enough, Nicole, right, I messaged you, but for some reason it went to your old number, and I was just there like putting that, I need to send you screenshots. And I was there like, oh my god, this is incredible, like I'm crying because I watched it and I could like, firstly, you know, I remember you were saying you were struggling with the music. Perfect. It was just perfect. It really added to it. But the bits that got me, my god, the like kid videos when you're a baby, and I was like, oh my lord, like this is actually. And I think there was a part when it showed your grandparents, and I was like, oh god, this is like, it just, I think anyone who kind of lives away from family or has been like hopping around and can really resonate with it. And I think he just executed it so beautifully, and it was like a delight to watch. And I think if you haven't watched it yet, please, like, I could not.
You have to
stop listening, go watch it.
Like pause, come back after.
Amazing. Like, you are insanely talented. Like, I'm just like, the more I see of you, the more I speak to you, the more I'm like in awe. I'm like massive girl crush. Like, I just Nicole, I'm so glad I am friends with you. And yeah.
Oh my god.
It's beautiful. And also the fact that we featured in the video, I was like, oh my god.
When I saw that,
I was like, graduation.
I was like, I know that person's
That's crazy that when you tell me that you're in awe of me, I felt the exact same, and I still do. When I started listening to your podcast with your friends, I was just like, I think I have a girl crush on Jem. And I told Sunny about it. I told Sophia about it. And I'm just like, I feel like I can really connect with Jem. Like, we don't get to talk very often. But when we do, like, I love every moment of it. And it's just awesome that you can share your thoughts and your feelings through your other podcast. So yeah, keep it up.
Rice is Rice, available on
this is home. Look at us. Like, we are far away, Oh, we are near. Our
I mean,
souls are
to be fair, when
connected.
I'm looking at my screen now, you guys are this close together, so
Yeah,
it's like,
same. Like
I'm saying, like,
Nicole's
Nicole is here to me.
oh,
Yeah, Gem's
okay.
here to me.
Wait.
Oh,
No, it won't work for me because it's different. I'm recording it.
oh, I think we should screenshot this. How? I got it. Did I get it? I don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think,
can
yeah,
try
when I
that
watched
later.
it, so after I watched the video, I was just speechless. I had to sit down. I was just like, really breathe.
Yeah.
Because, again, as Jem said, in terms of like having family like away from you, like distanced and stuff. And for me, because all of my family is back home and I don't remember the last time I've seen them. And it's like, it can be hard. And it's just like, and especially like, those clips of you when you like, baby Nicole. Oh,
so cute. Oh my G.
so cute.
Super cute. Same.
Yeah.
No words. It's just Sunny cries, as in my comment on YouTube, my comment on Instagram. Sunny cries, and still now Sunny cries every time I think about that
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, she left like 2 comments on 2 different platforms. Sunny cries again. Oh, thank you guys. It's really touching to hear from you on your thoughts of the video. And actually, when Jen mentioned grandparents in the videos, they aren't my grandparents. One of them sadly has passed away. They are my mom's cousin's parents. I don't know what the term is in English, but
Like
they are my
great.
姑婆 and 姑丈 and 公 in Chinese. So yeah, I haven't seen them in absolutely ages. So it was really emotional, like for me to watch those videos. Yeah, but I created something that I'm really proud of, and I hope that encourages you guys to create as well. We still have this is coming out on the 31st.
Yeah,
of
you still got
August.
today.
You still got today. I mean, even when
Make a post.
Asian August is over, you can still create.
100%.
It should be Asian every month, not just August. Okay.
Is it going to be Asian anytime?
Yes, anytime and every time.
Asian anytime. Oh, yeah.
Asian all the time.
All the time. That's what I was meant to say.
All the time, Asians.
Big brain right there.
Big brain.
Okay. So moving on. When a lot of people think of home, they also think about the sense of belonging, because home is where the heart is, right?
Yes.
So I want to shout out to Joelle. And Joelle made a podcast. She also uploaded a video version on YouTube. And so the first thing that Joelle thought of in relation to home was belonging. For example, what does it mean to belong? Where do I belong? Do I even belong anywhere? And she said that it's essentially an existential crisis material, which I can definitely relate to. So she talks about her journey to belong to herself and redefining what it means to belong. And she talks about coming home to yourself. There was one particular sentence that really, caught my attention, which is, being a woman, a British-born Chinese, the tension of existing between 2 spaces is beautiful. But too often, the world wants us to be either or, this one thing, for example, a doctor, an artist, a singer, etc. But we are also multifaceted. It is impossible for us to fit in one box. Always fighting to be one thing is unhealthy. Mm-hmm. And just like home, it doesn't have to be just one place.
One thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's
great. Love that.
Really, really enjoyed this podcast episode. And there are 2 more. Jem, would you like to...
Yes. So Joelle also has a podcast with her friend. I think they're all friends from uni, and it's called Spill the Char podcast. So they release a podcast episode. It's with as well as Joelle, it's Phoebe, Elsa, and Lauren. And in their podcast, they spoke about kind of like advice to their younger selves, and talking about the dilemma that they face every time someone asks them, like, where are you from? Which I know, like, I can almost 100% guarantee that every Asian has probably been asked that, like, where are you from? Or like, where are you really from? They also, another part that really stood out to me was them talking about like the benefits and struggles of straddling 2 worlds and cultures. And so I thought kind of I wanted to like bring that question back to you guys, and coming from like, you know, your struggles and how you grew up, like what advice would you give your younger self now that you know what you've gone through?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I think what I would say is, so for me, like, yeah, growing up, kind of similar to Sunny. Not that I was fully alone, but I was mostly like the only Asian kid. And I think what I would say to him is kind of like you will find your home. Like, I think when I was younger, I didn't think that I would be able to connect with more people in like the community and stuff. And it's something that I'm very fortunate that has been able to happen in the past, how many years of like, from meeting Nicole to meeting Sunny, sliding in my DMs, and then sliding into Jem's DMs, and then like lots of DMs. I mean, but that's the beauty of like the internet. Like it's helped me find amazing people, and I think that's the only advice. Kind of like just be patient. You will find your home, and you will be able to connect with people. And I guess second advice would be just reach out. Don't be afraid, because at the same time other people are also afraid to kind of reach out. So
for me, I think it would be well, I don't think I feel a sense of regret in anything that I've done as a child, because obviously like everything that you do in the past builds your current self, who you are at present. But I think one advice would have to be to step out of your comfort zone as much as you can, because I was always so terrified of doing something different, afraid of just messing up. But you know, the thing is, you learn from your mistakes. And I think the first time I truly stepped out of my comfort zone was when I did an internship during the first summer after my first year of university. I moved from down southeast of England to Nottingham for about 2 months, I'd say. Did my internship there, and I was just so afraid. But my mum's friend at that time was looking after me, so I honestly had nothing to be afraid of. But since then, like every summer after, I just wanted to do more and more different things, and it's amazing what you can learn just by doing something different every day.
It's hard for me, to be honest, like to give my younger self.
You are your younger self.
Especially in relation to identity, because I feel like I'm just at the beginning. I mean, we always are, right? Like what we said, like in BAM, it's always day one in BAM. And for me, that's, literally, I've just turned 18. I don't even think this is adulthood yet. Like this is probably pre-adulthood. I don't know. But yeah, just by listening to you guys and your advice, it's like something that I will take in. I feel like I will be looking back at this podcast and like, these guys were right.
And if you ever stumble, we've got your back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well about life. Like what Nicole said, I don't regret anything that I'd gone through, because I'm very happy with myself now. And life really is that journey. You'll have like your lows and you'll have your highs, and everything is a learning opportunity. And like I'd say maybe the only advice I would give to my younger self is that you don't need to pick between two different cultures, because I always felt like really guilty that I wasn't Filipino enough, and then I also felt kind of like weird that I wasn't British enough, and I always struggled with that cultural identity, like who am I, like, and that kind of like mindset actually like unfortunately it did at points make me feel like I didn't want to be Filipino, or like, oh, I wish like we'd never moved to the UK, and I wish I'd just been fully Filipino. And something that I've only really recently learned is that you don't need to be either or. You can be that mixture of both, and some days you might be more British and some days you might be more Filipino, and that doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, obviously your cultural identity is like massive, but it also doesn't need to define you, and you can take the best from each. And also I think the older I get, the more I appreciate the community, because I didn't have that strong community when I was like growing up. It was very kind of, where I live, it was very like groupy, like it wasn't like everyone was like a big community, and I had like my close Filipino like family, friends and stuff, but now, and it's literally during this lockdown I've made so many friends and connections, and it was all started through Simon and Bam, and that's what I'm so grateful for, because it's put me back in touch with feeling good about my culture and myself and everything. Yeah, so it's been great.
Yeah, I think ultimately what we get from this is to not put yourself in a box, like Joelle said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joelle, you're very, very wise.
We know you're listening, Joelle.
She's
Check out her podcast, guys.
Yeah, she's incredible. Like, she also does these Instagram lives, which I highly recommend. They are so insightful. I am obsessed. She's amazing.
So our next podcast, but not the least, it's by Natalie, the Yellow Bee Pod, and her guest is it Louisa? Did we say, is it Louisa?
Yeah.
Did I pronounce it right? Yeah, so it's with Louisa, and they talk about things that people should be grateful for. And one of the things that Louisa says in the podcast is how she's very grateful for being at home, especially with everything that's going on right now with obviously like the pandemic, and all of us in a way having to like stay at home and social distance. So my question is for you guys, what are some things that the BAM team is grateful for?
In regards to home during the pandemic?
Yeah, in regards to like being at home during the pandemic and just like in general.
I was having this conversation. So I went into the office today and saw some of my friends that I haven't seen in like 5 months, and we were talking about like how our lockdown has been. And the beginning of 2020, I was like, this is going to be my year. Like, I am going to find myself. Like, I was newly single, and it was the first time that I had time to really work on myself. And when lockdown hit, I was like, shit, like, this is all gone out the door. I'm just going to be nowhere. And maybe not this year, like 2020 is a cutout. But it's actually, I mean, obviously it could have gone better. I would have loved to like travel and stuff, but I'm super grateful for lockdown, because I don't think I would have just kind of done everything, because I'm the kind of person, I get very anxious, and especially with creative projects, I'm like, oh, I'll do it later, because I just get so stressed out thinking this isn't going to work out, this isn't very good or whatever. And lockdown has caused me to be so bored. I'm like, I need to do something, and I think it's the most productive I have ever been, ever. And also I've made so many friends. Like, I wouldn't have met you guys and joined BAM, I think, had it been like if we were still working. Like, I think it would have eventually got there, but not as soon as we did. And I think I have grown a lot during lockdown. I feel more adult and like responsible, because it's weird. I'm 23. I'm like, I'm only feeling responsible now. But like, I was just not very disciplined before, and lockdown has forced me to be a lot more disciplined. So I'm very grateful for lockdown. Not thankful for COVID, but thankful for the time to actually focus on myself and stuff. Yeah. Long story short, that was like a very like extended like.
I totally agree with you. I think if it wasn't for this lockdown, I wouldn't have had that feeling of, I think BAM needs to like come back, because prior to lockdown it was very like sporadic in terms of what was happening at BAM, and it was kind of like
a bit wishy-washy.
Very wishy-washy, you know. It was a kind of case of like, okay, like this time is gifted to us. I mean, every day is a gift, right?
Yeah.
But it was really like, okay, I really feel like now just felt like the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, guys, look how far we've come in such a short time. It's like I couldn't have fathomed that. So it's like I'm very grateful, because the way I do see things is everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And I know that a lot of bad things have happened, but also a lot of good things have happened. And there's that, it's finding that kind of balance within the world and within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something I'm very grateful for.
For sure.
Oh, sorry, I just had to like process that and just let that like sink in. Whoa.
I'm grateful for you, Sam, as well.
Stop.
Okay,
I'm just gonna keep crying in this podcast.
No, sure.
We should just retitle this Sunny Cries. Sunny Cries all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like similar to like Simon too. Like, obviously, it's unfortunate what's been happening, like with COVID happening and stuff. But during this lockdown, I didn't think I'd be like doing BAM. I think I've had this conversation with Sai. I thought like, oh, I'd go to uni, do film, and then help out with BAM stuff like here and there. But then I'm in BAM, and that's like fulfilling my dreams, and that's pretty
Oh,
cool. And yeah, like what Sai said about like time, to me, I feel like we've literally just started like last month. Like it honestly feels like it was just like last
mm,
month. Like what I've said, like here in BAM it's always day one, but actually it's
Yeah,
been a
they
couple of
went a while.
months. And just like Gem too, I didn't expect that during this lockdown I will be able to like meet these amazing people. And outside of BAM too, I've been able to like connect with really, really cool people. And yeah, and I'm really grateful for you guys and for like all the opportunities that has come like during this like lockdown.
Honestly, life still goes on. I mean, we are very lucky that life still goes on for us, of course. And I know many people have been very frustrated with the fact that they've had to stay at home during this time. But you can't just be negative all the time. Like you have to see the positives. And for me, the thing that I'm grateful for is definitely the time that I've had to myself to be able to think and come to the realization of things, because I lived a really busy life prior to moving to Amsterdam. I was living in like the middle of Hong Kong, smack bang in the middle of the very hustly bustly city. So moving here was like complete 360 change, 180 change. How does it work? But anyway, yeah, so I wasn't able to find a job in the beginning. I had so much free time to myself, and I was the type of person who felt like I was useless if I wasn't doing anything. So I kind of ended up doing nothing for about 2 months until I'm so lucky because of BAM. Seriously, Simon reached out to me, and I started to work on my creative skills. I started doodling, quite fun, and I started to design some things for BAM and Beyond. And then Simon told me, we have new additions to the team. Would you like to come on board again and, work together again? And it's been a wonderful few months. I'm really grateful for all that has happened within BAM. It's been a great opportunity being able to, work on our skills, because with BAM, we're very flexible. You want to work on podcasts? Go ahead. You want to write a script? Yeah, let's do it together. You want to hold an event? Let's go host. So we're still able to work on our skills, regardless of having to stay in like these four walls. So yeah, I'm immensely grateful for the time and for BAM and Beyond.
Love that. Honestly, guys, like I've already said this earlier. It's like I can't fathom how well everyone has just connected. That's something I wasn't even thinking about. If I'm like being fully honest, it was more like, hey, like Sunny, amazing. Jem shows so much initiative. Then I had Gio, Sophia, Ray, and now Phoebe and Christy, and it's like it just clicked. It just clicked and it just happened, and it's just like I can't get my head around it. But I guess that's kind of what it's like when you're making your own home, and I feel like I've done that, and I feel like it's still expanding, and it's exciting, so exciting.
Yeah, I think you giving us the opportunity to join BAM and like to restart it has all given us home. You've given us a home in each other, a home in the company, and I'm like forever grateful for you to have like even asked me like to join. I was like, oh my god. I remember like when you asked, I was like, I ran down to my parents. I was like, oh my god, guess what? Yeah, I was like so excited. And I like rave about it at work all the time. And I was literally saying to the work people,
Guys,
today,
stop it. I'm gonna.
I joined back. And they're like, how do you do this? And I was like explaining everything we do. I was like, you should just follow us.
Yeah.
Go follow us.
I remember like when Simon texted me, I literally just woke up as well. So I was still in my pajamas and I saw his text message and I just cried and I just sent him like pictures of me like crying. I was like to him, this is like the best birthday gift like ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Simon, you're amazing. So
Yeah.
today's podcast is about how amazing Bam is and how amazing Simon is.
Yeah.
I think because again, it's like, I mean, we've all said it, like BAM is home, like,
Mhm.
So,
and it's the people that are there that make it feel like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love you guys.
And I
Love
just
you.
also want to add that it's not just, the BAM team, the people that work on BAM projects that makes it home. The people within our community, those who have been
100%.
supporting us,
Yes.
everyone who's joined our Discord server,
Shout out.
you guys are, a part of a family as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for believing in us and way to go, everyone.
Okay. So, guys, if you haven't listened to our last podcast, which was all about food, we realize this has been a sort of common theme when people have been talking about home, and we've had some people create stuff around that theme of food too. And so, first person I'm going to talk about is Katie. She did this amazing like digital art illustration, and for her, food came to mind when she thinks of home. And I remember in the caption she wrote how home to me doesn't refer solely to a place, but rather to people and the feelings. I suppose that's why I made food art, because sitting around a table of delicious food dishes surrounded by family and friends is an example of when I feel most at home. I think that's something we can all definitely
Mhm.
relate to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And food is such a big part of our culture for
It
all of us.
is.
And it's
Yeah.
like, I think Sophia mentioned it in the last podcast, how like for her family, food is what brings them together, and makes their home like their home. And I think that's why a lot of us feel that food is like part of our home.
Yeah, I feel quite a lot of Asian families have the tendency to have a specific dinner time. So when you have dinner with your family, there should be no phones, absolutely no distractions. You just dedicate that time to your family. And I think that's really meaningful, and it's a healthy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
healthy thing to do with
Mhm.
family. Yeah.
Especially when everyone has like such busy lives, and sometimes dinner is the only time you can all get together at the same time. Like like my family, we don't actually have a set like eating time. It's literally whenever my dad is home from work, then we'll eat. So sometimes we'll have dinner at like 7, and sometimes we'll have dinner at 10, and like that's just always like the way we do it. And if say he's about to go to work, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, we all walk him to like the front door and wave him off like every time, like bye dad, and like kiss
That's
him
really
goodbye.
sweet.
And that's like our
That's so
That's
tradition.
so sweet.
Mm.
Aw. So we had another post by John La. Or was it La John La?
La John
La.
La. Hello. Because I know
Um,
our podcasts.
so
Energy. I just want to say before you go, his energy is just like I was watching one of his videos on the tube coming home, and I was like feeling exhausted and tired and kind of like, oh, but it just gives you that boost. So guys,
Yes.
head over and watch, because it's he's gonna be big.
he's gonna
He
be
is. Ray
He
literally
is.
said that when we were, was it on Sunday, when we were like, everyone was like in the main VC and stuff, and we were just like chatting, and then John had to leave, and just as about he left, Ray was about to say like, oh, I was gonna say, oh, he left, oh, I was gonna say like he's gonna be big, like I love his videos, and I had to like text John that, and he was like, oh my god, like he said that, I would have died. But yeah, he's honestly the sweetest.
This is the John La fan club.
This is,
Woo, woo.
So his post was him in Chinatown.
Oh,
And in his caption, it was basically, when asked what home means to me, I immediately think of Chinatown. So it was really beautiful because at the end of it, he wrote, like, London is my home, Chinatown is my room.
it's my-
oh,
so cute.
That's really cute.
And then the next one we had was Yan, who did a post which was a love letter to rice in particular. And she said that the one rice dish that never fails to remind them of home is congee.
Congee, sorry.
Congee.
The Chinese
I
in me.
butchered that. Sorry. Congee.
Yes, chop is the Cantonese name for congee.
Wait, what's the name for the Filipino one?
Lugao.
Lugao.
Yeah.
I love
The reason
that.
why Simon doesn't know how to say it or like what
Because he can't cook rice.
Guys, are you gonna introduce
Guys.
episode 8?
I know how, I just haven't done it. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But now I'm so distracted. I want to ask you guys, what is one dish that reminds you of home?
So I said this in last week's episode, but the one dish is my ina, who's my grandmother on my mum's side, her bopis, and also my mum's spaghetti. That is home for me. Yeah.
So if you want to know what bopis is, listen to the previous
listen to
episode
it.
and skip that part where they're talking about rice, just because
No, guys, don't skip
Do
it.
not.
you
not.
just skip it. You just skip it.
It's the only way you'll know how we could get Sai to
Anyways, so I remember you saying something about which dish did you say? What was your dish?
I want to guess. Adobo?
I love adobo. Mm.
No, it was adobo.
It was
but-
adobo.
Yeah, it was adobo, but it's the ESEA version.
Which is
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, which is different. So it's dried and it's like fried with like onions. And it's really good. Like I smell that and I think of home. Yeah, and also my dad's spaghetti too. That just like jam. Yeah.
Nicole, what about you?
Just like Jem, I want to shout out to my grandmother from my mother's side. I don't know. Okay, so in Chinese it's called bolo dan, and I have never seen it in restaurants, but apparently there is a restaurant in Hong Kong that sells this. So it's essentially a pineapple bun. You guys know what that is, right?
Oh,
The Chinese
No.
pineapple buns. It's not made from pineapple, but they have this like sweet crust on the top, and they like put a grid pattern on it. They make a grid pattern on it, so it looks
Okay.
like a pineapple. So that's why it's called pineapple bun.
Oh, okay.
And usually people will just buy it and you eat it as it is. But whenever I go home to my grandmother, who I don't get to see very often nowadays, she would make me this pineapple bun with essentially a fried egg in it. And she slices it in half, she opens it up, and then she whips up like some egg, and she'll just somehow merge it together, and then she folds it back up, and there's like some butter in it and everything. And yeah, like
That
no
sounds
one
really good.
else makes it as well as she does, in my opinion. And to be honest, not many people make it. So
Wait, have you learned how to make it yourself?
I think I've tried before, but
It's not the same.
there's not many pineapple buns in Amsterdam. So
Oh.
And I think as well, what kind of like that kind of stuff, it's like I could even if I could cook exactly the same spaghetti that my mum makes or the exact same bopis my ina makes, what makes it feel like home for me isn't the fact of the food itself. It's more like kind of the relationship that it reminds me of.
Yeah.
But like that's really sweet, Nicole, because I think like and for me anything to do with grandparents just like my heart, I just love my grandparents and I love old people in general. So
literally same, because when I was living in the Philippines, I actually lived with my mother's side, so like her mom and dad, so my grandfather and grandma. So yeah, I can totally relate to that. I miss them so much. My grandmother's no longer here, but my grandfather's still here, and it's sad that I didn't get to visit them during this lockdown. But hopefully next year, when things are a bit okay, I'll be able to see them soon.
Fingers crossed.
I think that's the perfect segue to the next post.
So one of the submissions that we had was from Jed, who created a digital magazine called Tadhanan, which means home in Tagalog. And within this zine, there's just like loads of photos that he took kind of on his... Because it starts off, I think the first photo was the plane going to Philippines. And it kind of, for me, when I was, at least my kind of interpretation is his kind of journey going back home. And he kind of explored home in like a broader sense, and what like traditionally people would think is home, as in like the physical space. So he had photos of like his actual house, but then he also explores other meanings of home, as in like he had photos of his family, and they were beautiful, like not posed, it was like all candid shots. And again, I think I remember there was like a photo with like maybe it's a grandparent, but it was an old person with a child. And that really again hit me. I was like, man, old people, don't do this to me. But one bit that actually really stood out to me that I really liked, there was a photo, I think it was in a basketball court, and in Philippines, they have like, basically I think it's like in each area, at least where my mom is from, because my mom's from Manila, like almost like every corner there's a basketball court, and the whole community gathers there. Yeah, right. And it's like an outdoors / kind of like, there is a roof, but it's like open. And yeah, his kind of exploration in that sense was like home in the sense of community. And that was probably one of my favorite shots that was in there. And I'd highly recommend checking that out, because he's a very, very talented photographer. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, really, really nice shots.
Last but not least, from our dearest, the organized one, Sophia. We love you. She actually wrote a poem about home, and I'm going to read it to you guys. It's actually an honor. I'm going to try not to cry reading this. So pray for me. Home. A place we seek for comfort, where we share our memories. A place where we grow and develop and treasure for centuries. Where we distinguish our sense of belonging and form our identity, while sometimes it's not perfect, as we run away to save ourselves mentally. Home may be many places as we move from time to time, but at the center of our heart, we will know when we hear a chime. That this place we call home, it may not be physical, but rather a place in someone's arms, and to us that is the most critical. Having somewhere to call home, where others may not relate, let's be grateful with what we have before we realize it's too late.
This is one of the sweetest pieces to end today's podcast with.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful poem, Sophia.
Really beautiful. Like, she is a woman of many, many talents, like constantly. Like,
honestly,
it's just amazing. Yeah, she I think my favorite line there is the bit when it goes, it may not be physical, but rather a place in someone's arms. I'm like, yes, because that's exactly how I feel. And also when I feel like, Sunny, especially when you were reading that, I almost felt like someone's arms were around me.
Oh,
maybe it's just that like I just want someone's arms around me, but like that was that was
cyber
a really
hug, cyber hug.
Cyber hug.
and the last two lines, let's be grateful with what we have before we realize it's too late. We really need to learn how to live more in the present and appreciate those, and really just express your love for those you love before, life is crazy. So,
and like sometimes you need to hear it. Even I think sometimes the people who you may not think that they need to hear this or that they want to, it could really make their day. So if you haven't told someone that you love them, go do it. Go do that.
Go
right
do it today.
Go pause this video and go say that you love them.
Give them a hug.
Make that the first thing you do after listening to this.
But also be safe because of COVID.
Social distance.
Social distance.
I was going to say, when I heard it says, we all know when we hear a chime, in like the third one, for some reason, I'm not going to lie, I just had the BAM logo intro in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not, okay. Oh.
And that also symbolizes the messages that we send each other all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I feel that was the perfect piece to end it. Like, again, like gratitude. What are you guys grateful for when it comes to home? I'd love, ask yourself all of these questions and make a post.
What does home mean to you?
Make a post. It's not too late.
And tag us.
Yeah.
we'd love to see your stuff. I think we've all really enjoyed seeing everyone's posts, and also just super grateful that people actually took part. It's
Oh my
really
gosh.
Yes.
lovely to see.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think it's built an even stronger like community and connection, that we all feel like we're not alone in how we're feeling, because everyone's feeling the same way. I think that's something that I've seen with the posts. Like everyone's kind of mirroring very similar messages, and it's nice to know that like it makes you feel understood and makes you feel like at home with these people, because you have like similar mindsets.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. And we love you guys and we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you
so
very
much for
much.
listening to today's episode. Let us share your thoughts with us. You can comment on the YouTube video, tweet us, DM us on Instagram, join our Discord, let us know there as well. And on that note, we can tell them what the theme for next year would be.
Already?
So guys, in terms of Asian August 2021, the theme is...
Just kidding. You think we're going to tell you so soon? You got to wait until next year, guys.
Yeah, wait until next year. Oh, I'm excited already, guys. Like,
me too.
It has been amazing this month.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's actually coming to an end.
Yeah.
It went by too quick.
But this is only the beginning, really, right?
It's always
Yes,
day one
as
at
we
BAM.
say.
Yeah. And it's always going to be Asians supporting Asians. So we're going to definitely keep that going. And
Be sure to follow our social media, join us our Discord server, our Instagram, subscribe us to YouTube, give us 5 stars. What's
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
5 stars iTunes, Apple Podcasts. And thumbs up the YouTube. And if you really love us, no, I'm joking. Yeah, if you'd like to support us further, you can always buy us a bubble tea. You can
Also,
check
don't
out...
forget. I was about to say that.
I didn't say it, you said it.
Oh yeah, I was like, make sure you check out the new merch because it's great. And whenever you get a jumper or or anything like that, imagine like we're hugging you. That's us.
Wow, I love that.
Welcoming you to our home.
Our home.
I'm feeling the love right now.
As Jem would
Yeah,
say,
right.
I love love.
I love
Yes.
love, and I love you guys.
Oh,
Okay. On that note, thank you very, very much for tuning in to this week's podcast episode. We'll speak to you again soon.
yes. You're going to be meeting our new edition.
Yes, you are.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I'm excited.
From a
You guys
team of 7 to 9, just for episode 9.
Ooh, that was
Ooh.
totally not planned.
No.
But yeah,
It's like fate or something.
that's true. I do believe in fate. We can talk about that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions and stuff, please let us know because we'd love to start doing a question segment too. And yeah, okay. We're going to love you and leave you now. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Insert outro music.
Dun, 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 dun.